Hello, this is Eric from AD Racing Central. BallisticNG is the top tier anti-gravity racing game available on Steam. The game has had a cult following for years, and to simplify things a lot, you could say that the game continues where Wipeout 3 left off back in the 90s. As you can see, the game looks a lot like the Wipeout games used to do back in the day, but that being said, BallisticNG definitely brings its own things to the table. The game is very mod friendly, but a while ago an official mod was released called the 2280 mode that sort of transforms the physics and gameplay mechanics of the game from being more reminiscent of the early Wipeout games to being more reminiscent of the later Wipeout games. But how much of a difference can that make? Let's find out. Alright, so here at the main menu, if we select campaign, you can do the official campaign, but you can also scroll down to the official expansions, and here you can find the 2280 expansion. You can alternate between the 2159 and 2280 ship skins. Apparently 2159 was an old mod for the game by the developers themselves. Alright, let's see if I can talk about the different new mechanics of the game and race at the same time. I'm not entirely convinced myself. But first up we have boost starts. As you can see, I pressed the acceleration button at the right time and I got the boost start. Just like you do in Wipeout Mega Collection, for example. So the mechanics of Wipeout 3, or the first Wipeout games from the 90s, and say the PSP era of Wipeout and Wipeout Mega Collection that was originally released for the PS3. The mechanics and physics of those games are actually quite different, and you can really feel it. It's actually quite remarkable how much different the game feels just by slight tweaks of the physics and adding some gameplay mechanics. I think the first races here are only 2 laps, so well, that's unfortunate. So what are the different mechanics? At first, it's just the raw physics. For example, you slow down much faster in the air while being airborne in this mode than in the regular BallisticNG mode. So just one minor tweak that does a lot of difference. Also, the way the gravity works is different in this mode as well. When it comes to mechanics, you have the side shift. You can shift from side to side. It's about a second of cooldown. You can sort of perfect your race line or avoid a sudden obstacle. Let's just ignore that last race and go straight into the next one. The Sephur Ridge introduction race. Let's pick another craft. Yeah, the Tenrai is one of those ships that I liked in the original mode. Boost start. Yes, there we go. And also, the turning of the ships is slightly more floaty. You don't turn at full speed when you tilt the stick. Your sort of turning speed has to accelerate a bit. So the 2280 mode it feels not entirely as snappy as the original mode. But I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, because I really like Wipeout Mega Collection and the way that game plays. You can actually do barrel rolls as well. I think they might be disabled this early in the campaign. So this almost makes BallisticNG like a history lesson in how the Wipeout games have evolved over the years. And I think it's great you have these different 2 modes to choose from. So before we go into the final race, I entered practice mode and I want to show something here. If you pause the game in practice mode, you can see this little bar here, the guide bar. And here you can see all the different tweaks that they have made to the game in the 2280 mode. I didn't talk about the pickup absorptions. You have no pit lane now that regenerates your energy. Here you absorb the weapons that you pick up. Pitching is a thing now that wasn't entirely a thing in the original mode. And also the track gravity works different. As you can see here you can see a ship just slides down the slope, and that type of gravity effects was not present in the original BNG mode. Basically, you can just read up yourself on all the tweaks that they made. Let's do the Harpstone race, the snow track. Let's do Nexus. And start boost. I think the timing of the start boost is quite generous. So in short, I think this game mode is remarkable, this game as well. It made a great game even greater. And I really think this can bring the two camps of Wipeout fans together in one game. I'm comparing this game to Wipeout a lot, but it's the obvious inspiration source. But that being said, like I said before, this game has its own things going for it as well. But I think you can't not talk about Wipeout when you talk about the 2280 mode, because it becomes so clear that you have these different control and physics mechanics for that is trying to sort of emulate the two different eras of the Wipeout games. Okay, cannon not my favorite weapon, but it worked quite well there. No. Well, it's what happens. So, if you for whatever reason have not felt like picking BallisticNG up because you didn't like the retro look and feel of the game, well, now we have no excuses left, because now you can play the game and it feels just like the modern Wipeout games of the PSP era and onwards. Thank you for watching. I'm Eric from AG Racing Central, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!